Welcome to Bridging the Gap, hosted by Utah Behavior Services. I'm Shaylee Johnson, and today we're sitting down with some familiar faces from the Coalition of Utah ABA Providers, also known as CUAP, and our CEO and President, Natalie Watcott. In the second half of the episode, we have some new guests. Matt Korn from Fisher Phillips will be speaking with our Director of Legal Affairs, Steve Hard. Let's get into it.
Okay, yeah, I'm Brianne Clement, and I am with Apex Behavior Consulting, and I am here at the CASP annual conference, and I am the president of the Coalition of Utah ABA Providers.
Hi, I'm Natalie Watcott. I'm with Utah Behavior Services. I'm a board member of the coalition.
Hi, I'm Maria Caceres-Leplis. I am the owner of Achieving Abilities. I am the president-elect for the Coalition of Utah ABA Providers.
Yep. How long have you been a member of CASP, Maria?
It's actually my second year. I think we just got over our second year. It hasn't been very long. Oh no, third year. It's been 3 years because we went to Portland for that conference, and that was really fun. So yeah, 3 years now and lots of great resources. Really did it because you recommended it, and we talked about like all the stuff that was going on with COVID. So COVID was crazy and I didn't really know what to do. And you're like, here's a bunch of resources, join this. And I went, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what's kind of helped with that. So
yeah. And this is my first conference. I just joined CASP as a member this year. I've been probably just a parasite of CASP for a long time. I say that as a joke because I've used a lot of their resources over the years and what you guys have provided to me, and have really wanted to be a member, but just have dragged my feet on it. And but I have loved this conference. I think it's been so good as a business owner. It's a refreshing change from the APBA and ABAI, where you get a lot more clinical stuff, where here you're really able to get stuff to take home to your business.
As an owner.
As an owner, yeah.
Well, we have been, Utah Behavior Services has been a member of CASP since 2016.
Oh, goodness.
So we were with CASP when they were really tiny, and, we all fit in about a room size of this, maybe. There's maybe 50, maybe 100 people that attended. And when I was talking to the team from CASP this year, they had over 800 register to attend this year, which was 150 from last year. So they have grown exponentially, but they offer a ton of resources. And that's one of the reasons we really got behind them, is we were struggling, like trying to get consistency, which is why we started our coalition in 2018, right?
Oh, yeah. And you guys, Utah Behavior Services, really helped introduce Utah to CASP. And when we had that first provider meeting in 2018 to talk about building a coalition in Utah, it was really Utah Behavior Services that was like, hey, guys, really helping to pull us all together, those of us who had been the main people in Utah. And then actually it was, what was the woman who did our...
Sarah Trotman.
Yeah, Sarah Trotman did our formation meeting, pretty much, where we came up with the name, we came up with our mission and what our values were going to be. And that was the beginning. We were officially a coalition in 2019, but it was really CASP that helped give us the vision for what to be and do.
She did such a good job to explaining what it was like in California and how they did that and how it was so necessary for us to do it in Utah. So Sarah's amazing.
Yeah. And that was the beginning of our coalition in Utah, the ABA providers, and just trying to increase the quality and the uniformity. And as providers, we were able to talk candidly in COVID, as CASP put out the telehealth standards of care and all of the different standards that they now carry, the board's standards of care for treatment. So they've come a long way, and it's been pretty important, I feel like, to further the field, for the quality of care, the unity of the profession.
Just really being recognized as a profession and really giving us the tools that we needed to help lobby the legislature to get a lot of what we got was really from, I think the, what is the legal
the legal resource, the
But we-
autism resource.
yeah.
Center,
mhm.
the autism resource
That
center
was
with
connected through CASP, and that was really helpful in just understanding how we can move forward with insurance coverage and having influence on insurance coverage, and then of course just influence on rates and other things that we have done.
Yeah.
In Utah.
What
We
do you
kind
get
of
out of it?
yeah.
Out of just being a member overall, definitely the resources. A lot of like our PNPs have come from just like reading the guidelines and different things, like the organizational guidelines. Like I was telling Brianne yesterday that like when we had to do a telehealth one when COVID was around and we really hadn't done very much with telehealth, it was let's look at what they say, and we read that chapter, and literally that's our PNP.
exactly.
That's exactly what we did. And then what's nice too is I know we've talked about like ACQ, and that's part of like, affiliated with CASP and
that's autism.
That's the Autism Commission on Quality. So, and I probably said it wrong, and if I did, I'm so sorry.
Autism Commission for Quality, ACQ.
Yeah.
And it is
it's their accreditation for providers for agencies. And it's a lot of work and a lot of crazy things to go through, but that also goes through a lot of the standards and a lot of the things that they put out. And that was a whole learning experience as well. There's things that I didn't know that are part of our contracts, and I've read the contracts so many times that they were able to be like, well, no, see how it says this? And I'm like, oh no, I've been doing that wrong this whole time.
So they help with compliance. They help you
For
stay
sure.
We call it the fireproof box of Utah Behavior Services, where it's like you stay in and do according to the regulations and the quality that's required. But I think the ACQ started 3 years ago. I think that was the first year when they
2 years ago was when they were in Portland, and that's when they started talking about it. That's when we got the mugs and stuff. But they'd been going it for about a year before that. So yeah, 2 years of actually like being in existence. And I think they went, maybe it was like a year and a half. Then.
Accrediting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're new accreditation board for autism service providers across the nation. And so that's been really helpful to kind of pull people together as well. But it's still a young field. I mean, when you look at all the fields that are professional fields out there, they've been around for a long time. So it's been really helpful to be a member of CASP and come to CASP. This is the first year, even though this is our 8th year attending. This is the first year, though, that we have our professionals presenting and sharing all of the things that we've learned, all the stumbles and all the victories that we've had, the wins and the misses, we call them. And they're being able to share that with other providers here and give helpful hints so that they maybe can learn from our stumbles and misses. But that's one of the reasons we come, and we're really strong supporters of CASP, is we believe in the mission of CASP, and we believe in the quality of care, which is why we started the coalition in Utah, was so that we could get a standards of care out there and not have it be a shark feeding frenzy of ABA providers.
Well said.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I agree with all that. I think that a lot of the things that we've learned through CASP, we just bring into CUAP a lot of times, and we share it with each other. And sometimes I can't go to a SIG or a meeting and somebody else can. And it's so nice to have that just like group feel and all of us just kind of pushing forward together.
Yeah, and just really having those standards of care in their 3rd edition. I was excited to start looking through that.
Revealed
Those 88 pages, we're so excited to read through.
I know, but also it just ends up being kind of like our guiding principles, really. And like they said, sharing it with the insurance companies, making sure, like I think our job going back is going to be make sure Medicaid knows about these standards. Make sure that the legislature knows these are the standards, and just letting people know there is a new edition out there. And I was going to go through highlight what's changed so that we can really help our members within the state know these are the changes in it, and so that's a lot of what CUAP can do, is bring this information back and really help it to get implemented in Utah so that it's maximized.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, they do so much for all of the providers across the U.S. that connects us.
Yeah.
No matter what state you're in, you could be on a SIG. Our committee, focus committee for the council, and but you might be on it for somebody that's across the United States. Somebody might be, only 2 states away, but we're all brought together for the same mission of quality service for autism, and ABA providers, and branching out, not just of autism, but any severe behavior that would benefit from applied behavior analysis treatment.
That's what's really great about this conference too, that I don't think we've really noted, is just networking. Like I've met so many different people from different states, and like I have numbers now, and everybody just wants to help each other, or for the majority of the time, everybody wants to help each other, especially when we're not in each other's like areas. I know we are, and we're very open to helping one another. But it's just fun, like talking to somebody from Texas that they just started doing scorecards more, and I'm like, well, how do you do your scorecards? She's like, oh, I can send you this whole presentation that I made, and I'm like, that's amazing. Like, just hand it out to me. That's so great.
Yep. I think so.
Yeah, collaboration, a culture of collaboration. And we've really brought that back to Utah. And I've really felt that here. And that's where I said I've been a parasite of here, because I've been using all this stuff and just not officially a member. And that's just my own delay in getting things done. But I've really been using this stuff, and then coming here and seeing that it really is it's a very collaborative environment. And I really value that. And I value that amongst you too. I mean, and just CUAP and the people in the coalition, that we're just out there to make each other better. And we know there's enough space for all of us. There's enough people that need help. And that if we can work together, we can get a lot more done than fighting each other, or hiding our stuff, or not wanting to share the good things out there. So I really appreciate that you two are humble enough and just supportive enough to do that.
We get to be respectful. I
Yeah.
mean, we get to help each other. We all are in the same markets, but because we are putting the families that we care for and the kiddos at the forefront, I think that plays a lot into why we're so collaborative, and we're gaining members. I mean, all the time in Utah. So for our coalition, which then will help other providers in Utah, with their quality and our advocacy work and everything that we do.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get some of those new providers. I see them all the time, and that's really, I think, a goal for us as a coalition is to really get the word out there, so we can get those small providers that are just out there kind of in their own little worlds, that don't know what they don't know. Yeah. And that's a lot of it. It's that people are trying to do a good job, but they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. And that's the key right there. You don't know what you don't know. We didn't know a lot when we started, and the learning curve is really steep.
It's way steep
in this profession and in a business or with this profession. So I think it really is. You don't know what you don't know until you have somebody else who's been through it that can help you say, hey, here's a pitfall, or be cautious here, or make sure you're doing that,
Yeah, I'd rather hear from a coalition member versus an auditor or a lawyer or...
Totally. I mean,
or a judge.
Yes, totally.
Yes.
We'd rather mentor them and help them come up from strong, so that they can avoid that. So it's all good. But that's one of the reasons why I think that's a lot of reasons why I come to CASP, and why we've been coming and supporting for the last 8 years, and watched the growth and watched the quality and the unity build. And it's just been really exciting, and it's been exciting to say, hey, you guys, you need to join. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And having you come and go, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So really helpful. I would recommend it to any company. That the resources that are available to you and your team is
and how they have all these sessions recorded too, so you can go back. There's going to be a library that if you didn't get to go to something, you can go back and see it, and even take it back to your team who weren't able to come and say, I went to this really good session, this is going to be recorded, we can all watch it together. And I mean, that's just really cool that there is just this once you're a member, what I've appreciated is that then I can have my team have access to these resources, and they're really quality resources. So many of the webinars that CASP has and CEU opportunities are really valuable and really very practical. It's really practical. It relates to what we do every day. You don't feel like you're wasting your time when you watch their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Ditto that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I appreciate seeing you guys this year, and I'm really
Yeah.
excited to
Great.
take back and keep
Yeah,
going with this.
take this all back to Utah and have some energy. And we've got our all-member coalition meeting that's coming up on Thursday. And so, and we're opening that to anyone who wants to come. So we're hoping that we'll get some new people that maybe we'll see how cool it is to be in our coalition meetings and how collaborative and informational that is. I think we'll probably share these new standards to everyone so that they're going to know what's coming down the pike and be kind of the first to know, which is exciting for people. And
just in case this comes out after Base 2nd, what is our website? I always forget.
Oh, yeah.
www.utahABAproviders.org. Okay. See, I always want to say .com.
It's
ORG. Okay.
UtahABAproviders.org.
And what's the date of the all?
May 2nd. That's May 2nd at 4 p.m. Our all-member meeting starts at 3:30, but the open to the anyone is at 4 p.m. on Thursday, May 2nd, which is in like 2 days.
All right. Sounds
So
good. Thanks
cool.
For,
Yeah.
Thanks for stepping in and have this little chat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that it's very helpful and in a way that we can support each other and CASP
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah. Thanks, ladies.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the importance of legal support in the ABA field. I have Steve Hark here from our team. He's our Director of Legal Affairs, and he will introduce our other guest.
And this is my friend and go-to guy, Matt Korn. For those at UTBS that don't know me, that's probably a good thing because that means our paths have not had to cross. But one of my big jobs at Utah Behavior Services is to try to reduce the legal risks that UTBS faces, and there are a lot of them with regulatory requirements, just employee issues, regulatory things, problems with clients and parents and things like that. So we face a lot of legal issues, but really one of the most complex ones does involve employment law, and that's where Matt here is my go-to guy. So Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and who you work with and what your area of practice is?
Great, thanks, Steve. I'm Matt Korn. I'm an attorney with Fisher Phillips, a law firm that helps employers with employment law issues. I work out of our Columbia, South Carolina office, but we advise employers all over the country and have colleagues in some of our other offices licensed in Utah that assist employers in all different industries, but including ABA industry on just how to be compliant with the fast changing and complex employment laws that apply to your workplace.
What, you mean the laws just don't stay static? They haven't been around for centuries and remain the same?
No, I wouldn't have much to do if they did. But yeah, we a lot of my job is around answering questions about laws that might not be entirely clear and trying to help companies just make sure they're doing the right thing. And that's what I enjoy doing I'm doing my job. So
Matt, what are the advantages to a company like UTBS and me coming to you or your firm for advice?
Yeah, I think it's great when companies are proactive about seeking advice and making sure, it shows a commitment to, we want to do the right thing. And I think all of my clients have that commitment because lawyers cost money, so it's not free to come to me. But when you do, and we can help, answer the questions, make sure we're doing things the right way, it shows that commitment to wanting to be compliant and wanting to do right by our employees. And I think that's super important.
All right, so Utah Behavior Services has a policy manual. We call it our Service Operations Manual. Talk a little bit about why that's so important for employers and employees to have.
Yeah, so commonly referred to as an employee handbook, but a policy manual is important because employees need to know the rules. They need to understand what's required and what could result in disciplinary action. Need to know what's the process for requesting time off. All sorts of different issues can be addressed in employee handbook. So it gives employees the opportunity to make sure they understand the rules. It will typically refer them to, if you have a question about this, here's who you should call. So it gives employees information, also helps managers to understand and apply those rules, right? So our managers need to understand what's in the handbook and make sure they're applying the rules consistently to employees. So, I mean, I think it's an important document to kind of notify people these are the things that are important that you understand when you're working here.
Okay. And talk to us a little bit about ADA, if you could, and how that's impacting the workplace, even in a field like ours, in ABA. So we also have people who need accommodations
Sure.
and things like that. So what are some of the issues you've seen with other ABA providers?
Sure. It's can be a difficult one to navigate sometimes, but companies they're following the ADA with their employees. If an employee has a disability and they need an accommodation, then there's a process that the company is going through with the employee to kind of determine is there a way that we can accommodate this, and the law requires a reasonable accommodation. Doesn't require every accommodation, but going through that process is important for the employee and the employer to kind of decide, is there a way to allow the employee to continue doing their job with whatever disability that they might have. So, again, employment laws can be complex, and I think the goals of any company or that I work with are to make sure we're complying with what our legal obligations are, making sure we're supporting our employees when we want employees to be successful in their position. So this is one way that, if employees aren't able to do every job duty that they could do before they got injured or have a disability come up, we can work with them to try to figure out a way to make that work.
All right, so Matt, I got to say that it's been great working with you over the past couple of years. We met at CASP a few years ago, and I feel like UTBS is in good hands because I have somebody like you to refer to for some of the more difficult issues that we face and to keep us current in the law. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being part of the team.
Yeah, well,
appreciate it greatly.
It's been great working with you guys, and I love working with clients in the autism service provider industry because you guys, everybody at your company is doing great work helping people that really need the help, and it's an honor for me to be able to work with you. So appreciate the time.
All right, thank you, sir.
If I can, I've noticed you are typically a sponsor, an exhibitor at not only CASP, but also Autism Law Summit.
Yep.
So I'm just wondering if you could speak to why that is important to you, why it's close to your heart to be at these conferences.
Yeah, sure. So I got involved a number of years ago. Lori Unum, who I think most people in this space know who she is, but she was at Autism Speaks for a long time and now runs CASP. She's a friend of mine. We both live around Columbia, South Carolina. And she invited me to start doing some webinars during COVID to explain some of the paid family leave laws that were coming out. And there was a lot of questions because passed laws and then they didn't know how to enforce them or how to apply them. So I was helping people navigate those and got kind of more involved in the space. My cousin's actually a BCBA in Boston and works at Perkins School for Deaf and Blind in Boston. So I have some personal connections to the community, but also it's nice when your professional job can be doing something that you actually enjoy doing, and in the industry that I think it's just such an important industry, and there's such a need for these services that if I can do anything to help companies be successful, that's what I want to be doing. So that's why I come to these events and try to give as much information as I can to people.
Great. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And CASP, definitely. I mean, we utilize your services, so.
Hopefully not too many times, but he's always there when we need him.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Bridging the Gap. You can check out more of our resources at utahbehaviorservices.com. You can also check out our socials at Utah Behavior Services, and we'll catch you next time.